Well, hello and welcome to the Sales Advantage webinar. It's James McNamara speaking, and soon I'll be introducing you to my partner in, I was going to say partner in crime. That doesn't that doesn't really sound very good, does it? My running partner, Mike Hilsden from the Chatbot Agency, to explain what we've done in putting together something pretty special, an end-to-end sales education and tools system for you. So look, the idea is triple your sales this year without spending more on advertising or without dropping your prices or without working longer hours. Now that's what everyone wants to do. They want to be able to grow their business, but not in a way that puts them in an early grave by working too hard, and certainly by not throwing away their available cash on speculative advertising and promotional programs that may or may not work. And we've all done that. We've all had great hope in something that's going to bring a flood of inquiries to our business, and we spend money on it and it's yielded nothing other than proving that we can run one hell of an expensive promotional campaign. So we want to talk to you about some practical, feet on the street, low cost, in many cases no cost strategies to be able to not only improve your lead flow but also improve your conversion, and then of course improve the loyalty, retention and ascension of profitable paying ongoing customers for your business. If you get those three things right, then you certainly do have a glorious little business. So I'll just say hello. I'm here in the office, got the trusty old headset on. I'm going to disappear in a minute up to that other corner, up to the corner there, and guide you through the slides that we've prepared for you. I'll introduce you to Mike as well. Mike will come on for certain parts of what we do. But okay, let's get underway. I'll just put myself up there in the corner. There I am, and let's crack on. So who is this webinar for? Well, a couple of groups of people. Firstly, for people who are relatively new in business and that they're in that state of mind and that spot, where the heart might be going a bit fast and you really want to get things going. There's the desire and in some cases the gentle concern about, hey, I've got to get some customers, I've got to get the revenue going, I need to get things moving. So if you're wanting to really start off your sales process, those top of funnel activities, then this is going to be good for you. But also if you're new in business, you need to win the business. So when you're belly to belly and face to face with customers, the process of winning and securing clients and of course keeping clients for the long haul. For years and years and years I've looked at the sales figures and the customer histories of small businesses that I've worked with, and what you see is a small number of repeating loyal clients, but you'll always see a huge number of clients that have come and bought once and haven't come back, and normally they come in via a promotion or some sort of a special offer or some sort of an advertisement or something that was run. They buy once and then you never see them again, and that's not because the advertising's bad, it's not because the sales is bad, it's because the third and very, very important and often forgotten element is the retention and ascension processes, so we keep them. So all of that good stuff for a business that's wanting to grow. But if you're a seasoned operator and you've already got your business up and running and it's at a level, but you now want to do one of two things. You want to take it to its next level of its evolution, and really scale up and take that further, or you may be thinking, hey, I'd love to show a handful of years of really good books before I put this thing on the market and sell and move on to the next chapter in my life. So for the mature businesses, you'll also have reasons why you want to increase and improve your sales and your profitability. So there's something in this for all of you. So if you're sitting here and you're thinking, but hang on a minute, I've tried this sales and marketing stuff before and it hasn't worked. I've run ads and I've just thrown my money out the window, and look, the sales techniques I've tried to implement have backfired on me. Well, listen, it's not your fault. Chances are you may have picked up on some quick fix style solutions that were promoted. There's a lot of that around in the business improvement industry, a lot of big claims, and it can happen immediately, and the word instant is overused too much, so don't worry, it's not your fault. We're going to talk with you about some practical ways that certainly are efficient, that you can move forward with, and you can get results in a nice timely fashion, and you can do so in a low cost and no cost way. If you're sitting there thinking, oh, you know what, this sales stuff, it scares me a bit, I'm a bit nervous about it, I sort of feel like I've got one foot in my mouth or at least two left feet when I'm dealing with customers, then put those fears to bed. There's no stress with that. What I'm going to teach you is some really authentic ways of being able to communicate. So you can be naturally yourself, but you can also do that communication in a way that influence a customer to follow you and follow your lead as you help them solve that problem. Listen, time and time again, I've had the feedback from the work that I've done with people in this sales communication area as practical, down to earth, as authentic, as not techniquey, not cheesy, none of that stuff. In fact, I've had some wonderful people who were at the top of their tree in the marketing profession, so sitting in marketing directors roles, gone out into their own businesses. They came to me for a little bit of help, and when I taught them the sales methodologies that I use, they were very, very glad. They said, you know, I was expecting sales to be some sort of dark art that I wouldn't really like, and a lot of what I've seen, you know, on the other side of the desk has been pretty poor. And for you to explain, you know, the principles and strategies and techniques in the way you did, I can absolutely see myself doing that. And one guy went on in his very first year out, to pick up and kick on and develop a six-figure consulting business using those methodologies. So this stuff works. Now, if you're thinking, gee, but it's hard for the little guy to get a break. We're weighed down with compliance. We've just had all these natural disasters. The government doesn't seem to be any help, and everyone's trying to get in your pocket or get at you. I agree. It's tough out there, and that's exactly why the single most important thing you can do is to look after the three areas of your business that we're going to talk about today, to make sure that those things flow for you and that you've got that stability of regular cash flow. That's also important. If you'd like to stick it to your competitors, and look, I've been there before as I've gone head to head with competitors in a small geographical marketplace, and you see sometimes they say things that aren't quite right, sometimes there's flat out lies that come from the competitors. They say whatever they need to in order to get the sale. If you'd love to be able to stick it to them and take those sales away and have them for your company, because you know you're going to tell the truth and you're going to do the right thing by your customers, and you're going to love what you hear today on this webinar. And of course, if you just want to build a thriving business, let's forget all that other stuff. Hey, James, I'm just here. I want to be able to pick up the sales. I want to increase the bottom line profit in my pocket and have a good, stable business that I enjoy, that doesn't stress me out, that doesn't keep me awake of a night time, and helps me build my wealth and my future. Then there's something here for you as well. So let's move on now. So our goal for this webinar, so what Mike and I want to show to you by the end of this webinar, is that the only way to exponentially scale your sales is with more and better qualified leads or inquiries, better sales conversion, and of course rock solid retention and ascension of customers. And the best way to do all of that is with the Sales Advantage program that we've put together, and we'll explain a little bit about that later on. So who are we? Well, I'll kick off since I've got the mic and you don't. I have been an entrepreneur for a long time. I wanted to go into business for myself right from the get-go, straight after I finished my business studies at university, and it took a while to get into that. I went and learnt the craft of sales through some big national organisations, and then stepped out on my own and did, started with a crappy old car and a spare garage, and away I went. And you know what, I got asked to come and speak to groups of business people, the business breakfast scene and what have you, about my approach to sort of direct marketing and sales activities. And I found that I was getting through to people, even though I was a bit young and a bit green, I guess. I was getting through to people, and people began to come and ask me, hey, can you come and talk to me? Can you come and work with me on my business? And before I knew it, I had consulting clients before I even knew what consulting was. So I sort of kept those things running in parallel for a few years, and then I ended up transferring over to being full-time in this training and coaching arena. I just found a wonderful sense of meaning and fulfillment coming from being able to share my ideas, my thoughts, my motivation and inspiration with others, and be a part of the journey that they're taking to their success. I don't ever sort of big note myself and claim that I'm the reason why others have succeeded. They do stuff on their own back, but they will interact with people who can help them at certain points along the way, and I've enjoyed doing that for over 2 decades now. One of the things I had the opportunity to do was to go inside a very large franchise organization and help franchisees start up from the word go. And when I looked back over all of my notes for all of the coaching and consulting sessions I took over the years, I'm a bit of a hoarder. You know, the old spiral-bound book like that one? Shelves and shelves of them. But I looked through, and even though the problems that different business owners were coming up with, embedded in the solutions that I was giving to people, I was talking to them about leadership. Whether that's leading self, leading customers, leading team members, or setting yourself up as the leader in your niche from a marketing and positioning point of view. So I coined a phrase that leadership is the antidote for all of your business problems. And so when you hear me speak about the approaches to business growth, you'll hear a very definite leadership message coming through, and I'll outline a little bit of that today. So look, enough about me for the time being. Let's hear from Mike. Mike, are you there? Hey Mike, tell us what's going. Okay Mike, so you do your thing. I think for you'd be talking about, hey, always interested in automated marketing solutions. Talk about that, so a bit of snap in your voice when you do that. And then be able to sort of finish off. My statement was leadership is the antidote. You might say something like, hey, what I've found is a way to be able to personally interact with people once they interact with your ad or whatever, get their name without them filling in a form. We're having great results with automated marketing or something like that. So then we're going to move on. So look, here's just a quick little look from one of our customers. This is Adam, a gentleman I work with. He runs a good size roof plumbing business, and he was involved in one of my sales and marketing programs, and you can see he's written some good things there. Found it inspirational and energizing. Simple and affordable ideas to generate more leads and increase profits, and on and on and on. Here's another one that worked with Mike. So at the first meeting, Mike found out that this person was spending in a beauty salon thousands of dollars on SEO, AdWords and Facebook ads to get no money. Right. Social media, she's now looking after herself. She'd been boosting posts, and Mike says you're better off shredding your money than boost posts. Within 3 days on zero budget with an MMS to Messenger chatbot. There's a little bit of technology in there, but fairly simple once you understand it. Generated over $1,000 in new business and 25 new bookings in 3 days. Cleaned up the database, added 90 more customers to the Messenger list, and the next step is to run, they're just in the process of doing this now, next step is to run Facebook ads with that so you can take some of that newly generated revenue, recycle a portion of it into paid advertisements to not only clean up the database but also attract some more people in, and you can recycle. In this sort of business there's many offers, I guess, for beauticians, lots of different types of treatments, and you can keep communicating. And so Mike will be helping them not only to attract new customers to the business, but also get the existing ones who love them, like them, have bought for them, and giving them the prompters and reminders to come cycling back through again. So all this stuff is just absolutely brilliant and lovely and simple too when it comes to that. So the 3 secrets that we're going to talk to you about are gaining the sales advantage today. I've alluded to them already. Getting the name of everybody who engages with your message, even if they don't fill out a form. So isn't that interesting? You might have seen the old opt-in forms before to get a PDF or to get a video or something like that. Look, in some ways, for traditional business, that's coming off the boil a bit. It's not as popular as what it used to be. So you'll be interested to hear what Mike's got to say about how he's using chatbots to be able to move beyond that and actually to be able to get the name of people in a fully compliant way so that we can have personalised communication with them on an ongoing way. I want you today to discover why you should forget selling and start leading. There has been some old tactics and techniques. A lot of it's still taught, but also a lot of it's still practiced. So quite often we get our views from what sales is by experiencing how others sell to us, and there's a lot of just not contemporary approaches that are happening. So the good news is, no matter what industry you're in, all of your competitors, and let's face it, you've got them. Some people say, oh, I don't have competitors. Crap. There's people out there competing for the same dollar that you're competing for, from the same pockets that you're competing for it. So yes, you do have competitors, but what if you could communicate in a way that's not only more professional, but it's more authentic, that's more trustworthy, and be able to have customers more likely to follow you and who you are and what you represent in your business, follow you to the solution to their challenge or their problem. That's where you want to be, and people won't be able to get near you. The third secret, of course, is how to build a brick wall around your customers, clients, members, or patients. Once you've got them, we've got to make sure we keep them. I said before, I've seen that many of the sales history lists of organizations where you see reams and reams of one-off buyers who weren't kept. And then there's a selection of people who are loyal and staying. So these businesses can do a good job. They can get loyal and repeat customers. There's no doubt about that, because there is a percentage of their database that are doing that. But what's happening is, when you look for the systems, the words, the scripting, the email templates, the letters, the packages, all of the things that we need to really engage and wrap a big bow around those clients and keep them close to us, very rarely do you see those systems existing in a business, right? That's the problem. It's not that there's not creative marketing available. It's not that it's hard to do. It's just that it's not done. And so what I want to be able to do is to give you some fresh ideas and motivate you and show you how that sort of stuff can happen. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, doesn't have to take a lot of money, and it's absolutely worth it, because a customer who comes back and buys again and again and again, they are so much more profitable. It's so much more profitable to get a customer to come back and buy 10 times than it is to go and get 10 brand new customers, even if the average sale values were exactly the same. This one with the repeat purchase is so much more valuable, and there are many other knock-on benefits of having good, loyal clients as you go through. So they're the 3 secrets we want to talk about. Let's roll and have a little bit more of a look under the hood of each one of those. So getting the name of everybody who engages with your message, even if they don't fill out a form. So Mike is going to take this away. Now, Mike's got an absolute talent for this area, and particularly this marketing automation. But he's not just a techie guy. He's not a guy that likes to hide away, in a dark room with the computer on. He's very social. He loves the get together with the client and to build that relationship and all of that stuff. And so what he's been able to do is to say, even though he's got an immense strength in the face-to-face side of things, he knows the power of being able to automate certain elements of the marketing equation. Can you automate it all from start to finish? Well, some people might like to think yes, but I think if you're in a localized business where you're providing a product or service, you got to have some face-to-face and some belly-to-belly time with the customers. But there's lots of other things you can do around the outside of that to free up some time by automating certain amounts. Mike, I'm going to shut up now because I'm doing your presentation for you. Fire away. So Mike, we need to clean this PowerPoint up. I don't really understand it. I know I asked you to send me something and I would knock it together, so I need you to talk me through this. I do understand this section of it, but what's going on here, I've got to know diarrhea about that. So we'll clean that baby up. Nice little icons in there. We'll still use a lot of those. That's fabulous, but need to be able to clear that up and get a good succinct path for that. And also we'll probably bring it up in its bits, right? Bring it up on the not element by element, but maybe half of it and then the other half in a diagram, so that they're only looking at the bit you're talking about at the time. But we certainly need to clean that baby up. Okay. Stop selling and start leading your prospects. This is really interesting. You may not have thought about this in great detail, but for many people, sales or selling seems to be something where they're telling, convincing, presenting, promoting, overcoming, cajoling, closing. And for many who don't like that sort of those things that look like they're putting pressure on somebody else, many people repel from selling in that regard, and understandably so, because that's rotten. It's no good, right? It's no good. What we need to understand is the fact that we have the expertise, we have the solution, we have the insight on how to solve the problems. Our prospect and our customer is a relative novice. If they were an expert in solving the problem, they would have went ahead and solved the problem, and they wouldn't be talking to you. They're talking to you because they need help and support in doing that. And so what we want to do is to just completely and utterly close the window on this idea of proving ourselves and pitching and presenting and overcoming objections, for God's sake. And what we want to do is to be able to say, well, hey, we need to be able to lead a conversation with that prospect, so that we not only set them at ease, but we fully understand where they're coming from and what their needs are as they express them, right? And a need is a feeling of dissatisfaction with what's going on now, plus a desire to get a solution. When you can fish that out from the client, you know, hey, I'm onto something here. This is worth me presenting a solution to. If you can't ascertain both of those, then the client's not ready to buy. And what you're going to do, even though you're enthusiastic and you know it could help them, if they don't have that stated feeling of dissatisfaction, you've got to work it out of them, plus a desire for an outcome or a solution, then you're presenting to nothing. And then you end up looking like the pushy salesperson because you went too far, right? On the other hand, though, when you do elicit that feeling of dissatisfaction, that's the pain points for the client, isn't it? That's the yucky stuff they're trying to get away from, and you understand that. If you can draw that out from the customer, you could well be the only person in the sale who understands that. Because I tell you, most other salespeople won't bother. They'll wait till they get a hint of what the issue is or the problem is, and they'll just show up and throw up. Oh, we can fix that for you. Let me show you how we do it. On and on and on they go. And the poor old prospect sitting there going, whoa, 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 hang on a minute, you don't know anything about me. You know, I'm sure, but our situation is different. That's what they're thinking in their mind, and they're not trusting what's coming their way. So that's if a salesperson's doing the presenting, telling, convincing route. I'm saying throw that rubbish out and work with the client to understand the challenges they've got at the moment, how that's affecting them, how does it play out in their life, what does it look like for them? Because what it'll look like for customer A and exactly how it affects them, and the different types of pain points and downstream effects for customer A will be different to customer B, even if they're in the same industry, right? There'll be different ways of expressing it, right? So you need to understand that from that particular customer's point of view. Where do they want to end up? What's their happy smiley place? Not, hey, you know what you can do, or what would it mean to you if, oh, I can show you how to. Let them tell you what their happy smiley place looks like. They won't explain it in the technical terms that you would be able to, because you're the expert, remember. But how do you get them to feel comfortable and come forward towards you and tell you in just layman's terms, ideally, how they want things to play out? And if you are the salesperson, whether you're an employee salesperson or a business owner salesperson, if you're the salesperson that can understand that, lead that conversation and have that client tell you that they are all ears for your solution, and they will trust you because you listened and you worked hard to understand them and their unique situation. You know, I have salespeople tell me all the time, oh, I'm a needs-based salesperson and I really want to get to understand the customer, and that's my point of difference. Oh, great. Well, what's your process for doing that? And you know what? 9 out of 10 of them say, oh, well, I just tell them, How the heck can you understand the customer when you're just going to tell them? And what I've found that through all of this, people lack a process, a communication process that they can lead and draw the customer out and get them to move forward with you. And that's what I teach people, how to get below the surface, because all of the good reasons why someone's going to buy is below the surface. What a lot of salespeople do, so this presenting, this overcoming objections, this quoting, this closing, they don't ever get below the surface because they're too busy banging on. So we've got to get rid of that, right? And we've got to lead the conversation that uncovers the real reason why someone will buy. And when you do that, there are very few objections, right? And the ones that do come up are not hard to overcome. And when you do this, you don't need to close. You just invite them to move forward with you. Yeah, of course, you've still got to ask for the sale and ask for the business, yes, but there's no pushy, shovey stuff going on. The trust is high because you were trustworthy with who you were. So that's a big area that people need to get their heads around. Now, what I find when people can become comfortable with this, they can do it actually quite naturally, but it's washing the old yucky sales approach that you might have been trained on, or you might have experienced, as a customer for many years by salespeople who are not all that skilled. Trying to wash that out of the brain and adopt this new approach is the hurdle to overcome, and that's what I help people do. So the third thing, of course, is client nurturing and ascension. Ascension's an interest. I'm not talking about religious ascension, of course, but I'm talking about this idea of where do they start and how do we bring them through to become, ultimately an advocate for us, a loyal, repeating advocate for us. So let's have a look at this at the moment. This is an age-old strategy, pouring time, money, and energy into the top of the bucket, but the bucket's got holes in it, so it keeps running out. So imagine that time is in marketing, the money is spent on advertising, and the energy is spent on the marketing. We're pouring, or the energy is spent on sales, I should say, and pouring new customers into the top of the bucket, and those holes represent customers who are running at the bottom of the bucket because our retention, loyalty, nurturing strategies aren't in place. And the magic around this is just doing it and getting good, regular, systematic communication in place. There needs to be some automated communication, but there's also some personal communication. And what I teach people to do is to think about their customer base, think about their available marketing money. What portion of it are you going to allocate to tipping more stuff in the top of the bucket, and what portion are you going to allocate to making sure that the holes are mended in the bucket so your customers aren't coming in and slipping out? So you start thinking, whatever that proportion is, then how are we going to allocate to the various categories within your database? So there'll be some people on your database that you'll want to spend money taking to lunch or taking to the footy or buying a lovely bottle of wine or whatever. And there'll be other people that you might want to spend some money on in terms of a higher level quality produced piece of communication, right? Might be a lovely direct mail piece or something like that. There might be a percentage who get that level. And then there might be others who get various degrees of email interaction. What Mike will show you is how to get people into various messenger groups, into Facebook groups and those sorts of things, and what you can do with all of those things. That needs to be thought through. And I would put as much effort into that part of marketing as I would into the top end part of marketing. But you know what? This style of marketing is very rarely talked about. I mean, I go to business breakfasts after business breakfast. In fact, I'm sick of going to business breakfast now, and the last few years I haven't been to that many. But for years I went to them. And you hear the presenter and the business coach and this and that, and when they talk marketing, they're all talking top of funnel stuff, top of bucket stuff, the advertising, the lead generation. You don't hear people talking passionately and in detail and creatively about the various campaigns and things you can put together to hold people in your bucket so they don't leave. You imagine if you had very high levels of retention. I mean, it's probably impossible to have 100% retention because some customers die and businesses get bought out and incumbent suppliers from the buying person come forward and so on and so forth. But very high levels of retention, and not only the retaining of that customer at the level it's at. What if they bought more often? That can happen. And I worked with an industry in the timber industry, was supplying timber to manufacturing units, the truss and frame plants. And the cultural norm was that, well, no truss and frame plant is ever going to go 100% supply with a timber supplier because we're a commodity, we're a natural resource. What if we can't supply? Then the whole thing, they're always going to have a couple of major suppliers and a minor supplier. And we said, well, we think you can build relationships so you can get 100% supply. And there was one lady outside of Sydney in the Newcastle area. She said, well, stuff it. I'm going for it. I'm not going to believe the cultural norm, the historical norm. And she went after and she got the single biggest truss and frame plant in Australia to convert over, and this was only within 6 months is all it took. And along the way those orders were increasing. Within 6 months it was guns down, 100% supply for the biggest truss and frame manufacturer in the country. And she did that to all the ones in her region that she looked over the next 2 years, converted them over. So think about this now, guys. I know I'm expressing myself with a lot of passion, but think about this. Not only retention of customers, but expansion of customers, getting them to buy more and more often. So often I hear that people will say, "Oh no, they're buying everything they want from us. There's nothing they don't buy elsewhere that they don't buy off us," and that's so often that's wrong. That's a wrong assumption to do. So we want to patch the holes in the bucket and get those people buying more and buying more often. And the idea of customer ascension is this. Well, they find out about us, don't they, by getting... We get their attention through some of the stuff that Mike's going to show you. We get them to inquire, and Mike can help you to learn how to do that via a lot of automated ways. They buy, which is our sales interaction with them. We want them to repeat purchase, don't we? Then we want them to become loyal. There's a difference between buying and then buying the next few times and then becoming very loyal. And then there's a difference between an advocate. An advocate is a loyal, repeat purchasing customer who sings your praises. And they're worth their weight in gold. So you can see now, if you think about that chain of ascension, and I talked before about the marketing budget you're going to allocate to everyone who's become a customer, so from buy all the way through those other levels. So that's what you can think about in terms of what am I going to do to allocate to that. If you're thinking about time, money and energy in marketing, how are you going to divvy it up between the customers who are at these various levels? Now, of course, there'll be more who have bought from you than who have reached all the way to advocate. That might only be 2 or 3. Treat them like gold. Treat them like gold. So that's the approach that I want to encourage people to take with their existing database. And don't be frightened with your existing database to throw in people who used to buy from you but no longer have bought from you. Don't be frightened to throw in people who asked for a proposal or a quotation, you didn't win the business. They're all potential customers. They're users of the product or service that you sell. Sure, they went and used somebody else. Who cares? Build a relationship and bring them through and go after the exact type of customer that you want. Who's your A-grade customer that you want to pursue? And fill your client base up with really good quality customers, so one day you can get the opportunity to refer your D-grade customers off to your competitors and let go of them. Because let's face it, sometimes we have the customers that earn us the least money can cause us the most headaches, and if you've got any of those, we just really need to get rid of them and move them on. So look, there you have it. The 3 secrets. Get the name of everybody who engages with your messages. Mike talked us through, even if they haven't filled in an opt-in form, which is getting harder and harder to get people to do anyway. So let's find a better and a smarter way to do that. Forget about the old style selling and let's lead your customers, and that will skyrocket your conversion processes or your conversion rates. And once you have them as a customer, let's build a brick wall around your customers, clients, members or patients, and make sure that not only do they stay with us, but they ascend and they buy more and they buy more often and they refer their friends. And that's what we want. If you can get those 3 things dialed into your business over the next several months, then you are going to have one of your best years ever in business. There's no doubt about that. So look, do you think that would work for you? If you were able to create a scenario with Mike's help where you had a more consistent flow of inquiries and you're able to qualify through those inquiries so that when you did get on the phone or you did go to meetings with prospects, you were talking with people who were a reasonable way down the path, I guess, and you weren't really wasting too much time with tire kickers. That's a problem with small business because you've only got a certain amount of time. So if we can weed out a percentage of the people who will end up wasting your time, that's a really good thing. But suffice to say, sometimes you've just got to go to the meeting, haven't you, and see what opportunities come about. So if it's a decent level of prospective customer, it's worth showing up and seeing what comes of it. But if you're able to develop that constant flow of leads, and when you got in front of those customers, you're able to convert at a much higher rate than what you are right now. And if you're able to keep those customers coming back more often and expanding what they purchase off you, would that help you get your business to where you want to get to? So put a yes in the chat box if you can see those three steps helping you to build the little enterprise that you want to build. Yes, absolutely, yes. Well, terrific. We're on the right path then. So let me now ask you this. So when it comes to the ideas of implementing those things and putting those things in practice, people normally at this stage in a discussion, whether it's on a webinar or whether it's in a training course, people are either excited or they're overwhelmed. Sometimes they're both. They're excitedly overwhelmed. But and that's why we put the drinking from the fire hose there. So look, in terms of the implementation then of that, is it okay with you if I now spend a little bit of time talking to you about the Sales Advantage package and program that Mike and I have put together that's jam-packed with the trainings and the templates and the solutions to be able to bring all this to life in your business? So put a yes in the chat box if you're comfortable with that. Come on, guys, put a yes in if you want it. I'm only going to talk to you if you want it. I mean, I don't need this information because I've already got it, but for those of you who are interested in knowing, I want to make sure that there's a receptive audience out there. There you go. The yeses are coming through now. Absolutely fantastic. Well, on that basis, then let's crack on. So we are the Sales Advantage package. Program, I should say. So it's a 6-part program. Deals with list building, how to write advertisements and promotions that work. So a lot of people, when it comes to crafting their ads and their promotions, are a bit sort of fingers and thumbs with how do you put it together. So I'll give you some hints and tips and some shortcuts there that can help you. How do we qualify prospects? Converting more sales, nurturing customers, and what I call the brick wall strategies. Some really good templates and strategies within that section. So that'll help you to easily attract keen buyers, build your list, automate the qualification of prospects, teach you how to stop selling and start leading, how to develop killer proposals, nurturing relationships, and build a brick wall around the customers. Now, we put a value on that of $19.97. And that's conservative. But listen, there's more to come. And by the way, if you stay right to the end, you'll see we're not charging that today, which is great news. But there's a little bit more meat on the bone, so hang around. So here is an example of what happened with a person. I think this is in the real estate industry from Mike, where number of people added to the list, active interested people added to the list. So this is a real estate agent building their list of buyers so that they could not only move their houses quickly but become the real estate agent of choice to list with, because that's the bottom line for real estate agents. If you get the listing, then you've got it. But obviously people want to list with an agent that's got a big database of interested and keen and active buyers, don't they? So they're able to move from, initially around about 1,000 people on this list to over 4,000. They did that in the year, and they weren't in a very big area, mind you. Okay, so in a more regional area. They were able to do this on a low advertising budget per month, right? And so the average cost per lead or per person that said, hey, I want to find out more about your listings, was just $1.20. Right? So people say, hey, advertising's too dear. Well, when you do it incorrectly, the the Facebook advertising and the Google advertising can be very, very dear because you get charged for the clicks and you don't get anything out of it. But what you can see here is this is quite conservative, and they were able to do some really, really good things in that time. So there's proof in the pudding there that this can work. Another one of my customers, my profit is up 48% on a similar turnover last year, plus I have a bigger team to help me share the workload. I couldn't be happier and I can't wait for the business year ahead. And so we did all things sales and marketing through that business. So this works for all small businesses in any industry, whether you're established or whether you're just starting out. And I'm sure if you're sitting on this webinar right now as either a new face in business or whether you're a seasoned operator, there's no denying that more qualified leads converting at a higher rate and sticking around and buying more often is the ticket to more profit in your pocket. So here's what you're going to get. So the Sales Advantage 6-part course. Automated list building. So that's actually a 12-step process from Mike in detail. So you're going to get some video tuition on that and the various templates and so forth along the way that you need to be able to automate list building. Now that on its own is worth $19.97. Let's face it. That piece on its own, part 1 of the 6-part course, let alone the fact that we've got a couple of bonuses for you as well after this. So the value that we've jammed into this is huge. Words that sell. So put your ads on steroids. If you've tried writing promotional piece of promotional copy before, you might have felt a bit strange about it. You might, I'm not an advertising person, I don't know what to do. I'm going to give you some really good materials that can help shortcut, because what you'll find is there are certain types of phrases and patterns of words that work really well for headlines or for bullet points or for transition phrases to help your advertisement and your copy flow really well. And you can actually take some cheats out of that and fairly quickly put together some very compelling copy. And of course what Mike will teach you to do when you work with him, or I should say when you listen to his materials, is how to test. So you take a couple of options using this information you get from the words that sell, and you'll test one off against the other, and you let the marketplace tell you which one they prefer, and you take that one forward. And through a combination of being smart with how you word things but using the marketplace testing, you can zero in on advertisements and promotional strategies that work really quite quickly. So that's important. Be a sales leader. So how do you convert more sales? Right, and this isn't about beating people up or cajoling or overcoming. You heard what I was talking about before with the iceberg, how do you get under the surface. It's about leading the customer, leading their thinking so that they follow you to the solution. And you'll love it. It's authentic, down to earth, good quality communication, and you'll just be enamored by how well you can get people to follow you, because you'll be natural, you'll be authentic. And you won't be sitting there thinking, oh, I don't want to look like that yucky, pushy salesperson. Because when you've got that running through your head, you won't make any sales. It's quite simple. How to write a killer proposal. We know that in business-to-business sales, it's very, very common for the purchaser to say, hey, can you just summarize that for me and put that together in an email, or send me a proposal or a quote or something. Now, this idea of put it in writing or send me a quote, instead of it being a continuation of the sale, it's often an injunction to the sale. It's a block, it's a stop, because people move out of their flow in communication from their face-to-face communication. Now they've got to put it in writing, and they make a complete dog's breakfast of it. I don't want people to deliver quotations. Quotations are bad news. Because let's think about it. What's a one-page quotation do? Line item price, line item price, line item price, total. It absolutely focuses the customer on price, and it encourages them to dig into how you price up the offer. And they say, how come this line item here is $1,350? Can you change that? Can you sharpen your pencil on that? Well, it opens up all that stuff. And what I'm going to teach you how to do is to write proposals at work. Nurturing customers, so that's the ascension process. How do we get them to move forward? And then of course building a brick wall around the customers so that not only do they stay with you, but you lock the competitors out, and that's really important. Don't underestimate that. A number of the businesses that I built over the years, I built by taking customers off other clients. Now, were those clients bad? No, they were doing a good job for their clients. When the client rang them or got in contact with them wanting to purchase something, those particular suppliers were treating them well, treating them respectfully. They were getting prices back to them quickly. When the orders came in, they were fulfilling those orders quickly. They were doing all of that stuff very well. But in between the customer contacting them, those suppliers weren't doing anything. So yes, there was loyalty, but it wasn't strong. Those suppliers didn't have a brick wall around their customers. They had a little picket fence. And it was very easy for me to either knock that fence down or jump right over it and start building strong relationships with those clients, getting the opportunity to quote, getting the inside word on where I needed to be to win the quote, or won the first job, transferred them over to me, and then took them on to Ascension, and they spent more and more and more and more and more and more and more often and more often and more often. Not every customer will continue to do that, but you'll be surprised how many customers have the potential to spend more with you more often. And so that's what the brick wall strategy is all about. So again, that's the value of 1997. Let's have a look at what you can do. So the tools, how to set up a lead generating chatbot for your business, how to qualify customers for your business, take the lead in sales meeting, writing those proposals, nurturing campaign, and brick wall. Bonus number 1. 5,000 chatbot. So there's 5,000 people using chatbot. So that says 5,000 subscribers. My little head's in the way there, I think, for you. 5,000 subscribers, automated follow-up. It can sync in with MailChimp. You can get people onto chatbot with QR codes, 24/7 receptionists to help you out. This is the tools and the technology. Now Mike's built this proprietary platform himself. Okay, so it's not one of the other ones like ManyChat or one of those. It's actually more compliant with Facebook's regulations than the other ones. So it's absolutely brilliant. So we're going to give you 2 months access to that so you can get your head around and start getting it up and going and using it. Now this next bonus will knock your socks off. Bonus number 2 is a proven chatbot template. Now setting up these chatbots can be complicated, there's no doubt about that, but they're very, very powerful in automated communication. But if you want the automation to work well, there's a bit of complexity to it. So Mike has his template for a proven chatbot. You can copy and paste. Very simple to update and add your material, your links, your information into it. It's conversational to get the person talking. It's designed as a sales funnel to bring people down the inquiry path to get to the point where they either fill in a form to make contact with you, or dial the phone to make contact with you, or book directly into your calendar if you've got a direct calendar booking. That can happen as well. Now Mike's been conservative there at $1,500. I mean, Mike would charge a customer $3,000 to set up their chatbot for them, and so you know, $1,500 to get the template, and then all you got to do is make a few changes yourself. So that's good value. The third bonus here then is a live recording of me doing a sales leader presentation. So that's an MP3 recording. It's an upbeat live recording. It's about losing your identity crisis with selling, knowing how to lead the customer and influence them, and finally get yourself to a point where you can become comfortable with selling. So that's a $97 value, and we're going to throw that in for you. So let's have a look at what you get then. The 6-part Sales Advantage course. Automated list building, words that sell, be a sales leader, writing killer proposals, nurturing customers, and build a brick wall around your customers. 60 days free with a chatbot and the expert chatbot template. And be a sales leader audio training. But look, Mike and I aren't finished yet. We were going to throw this in, and then we decided we're really giving a lot away here, so we brought this down and limited this down to just the first 10 customers. We'll get these extra bonuses. Okay. Number 1 is 6 industry chatbot templates, and you can see here there's a picture of some film here and some screenshots. So it's actually videos of the chat as they would play out on a mobile phone. So you can see how they work, and you can see what different industries have done to tailor that template, or I should say what Mike has done in different industries to tailor that template to various different business types. So examples of how to tailor the chatbot, creative ideas and insights for you to use, and these are the industries. So accountant, a coach, a beauty salon, a real estate agent, home services and digital agencies. Now that's easily $2,000 in value, considering there's that template, and this is 6 different examples of how to tailor it and really bring it to life for individual businesses. That'll make your job of putting your chatbot together absolute breeze. Absolute breeze. How to write killer proposals. So what we've got in here is even more advanced training, plus my documentation of 3 examples of winning proposals. So how to be benefit focused, not price focused. How to continue the sale, not interrupt the sale when it comes to putting stuff in writing. Professional, head and shoulders above the competition. $495 in value. You can literally take these things, lift them, use them. And rework them for your business. There's no doubt about that. What I've found in business to business is people do want things that are written down, but what we don't want to do is fall into the trap of quotations that are just like a table format full of prices, because it causes more interruption to the sale than what it solves. What you'll find with these, even though they are a more comprehensive document than a quotation, excuse my cough, than a quotation, you can use them as a template. So there are certain sections of them that you'll change, but there are other sections that will remain relatively the same. So you can put this together in a fairly short time. And I'll tell you what, the little bit extra effort over and above what you would normally spend on a proposal, on a quotation, is absolutely worth it, because your conversion rate will go through the roof. Now this particular set of documents and samples here contained in this bonus, I had one of my customers come to me and said, you know what, this is worth the value of the whole program. Because he did exactly what I suggested, which was take that away, find which of the 3 suited his business style the best, get that in place in his proposaling system, change the details to suit, and get it out in the marketplace. And he won a $12,000 sale from 1 week to the next within our course. And he told me that the client said, look, we liked you, you were great when you came in, but the thing that won it for you was the quality of your proposal. So there you go. And that was a corporate buyer. This gentleman was fairly good at sales, quite a charismatic guy, lovely fellow, good at what he did, showed a lot of care and concern for the client. So all of that came across really well. But this fellow was a senior executive, actually in a private hospital, said this is why you won over the others, and they were getting other quotes. He told my client that. So this stuff's good, right? It's just really good. So let's have a look at what you get. The 6-part Sales Advantage course, 60-day free with the chatbot, expert chatbot template, Be a Sales Leader audio, 6 industry templates for the chatbot valued at $2,000, and the writing of killer proposals, $495. Total value $6,147. The first 10 get those extra 2 bonuses. So here we go. Obviously we're not going to charge $6,147. We wanted to do something that was a little bit more accessible for particularly some of the smaller businesses. So we're not going to do that. We could have done that, but we decided not to do that. We could easily have done that, and in fact this is where it will settle. Mike and I will be retailing this package at that price in the very, very near future, but we're not going to do that now. We could have simply taken $1,000 off that and called it $997, but you know what, we went a little bit crazy, and we're not going to do that either. Just $497. So that's everything. The 6-part course, all of those templates and bonuses, and of course bonuses 4 and 5 for the first 10 buyers. So you will see by now the automated button should be popping up where you can go along to our shopping cart and you can pick all of this up for $4.97, and the first 10 will be given these extra 2 bonuses, and they're worth their weight in gold. There's no doubt about that. So really you've got 2 choices, ladies and gentlemen, the old movie, the red pill or the blue pill. Look, you can swallow the red pill, and that's like staying where you are. And I don't want to disparage any business on the line. You are here, your business is running along, ticking along quite okay, I assume. And so you could take some of the ideas from today's webinar and run along and be happy with that. Or you could take the blue pill, and you can have access to all of that material. Now that's going to be on an online learning system, username and password access for you, and you'll have that lifetime access to that, so it doesn't go away. And so you'll be able to follow through and implement what you want. We suggest you follow through and do all of the bits, but of course you'll want to come back and review at some stage. And so the second choice is to move yourself to a whole new level with new education, new templates, new support, and move forward. Now listen, there's no risk to you because we've got a 30-day no quibble guarantee, and it's exactly what it is. Now it's highly unlikely that you're going to use this or need it, but it's nice to know that it's there. So peace of mind is a very important thing. So if you're struggling, let's have a call to help you through. First thing, right? So if you're struggling to get this implemented and you can't seem to work it for your business, let's have a call to get you through. Okay? We'll call you wherever you are in the world, right? If you're tuning into this webinar from the UK, well, that's not a bad time to call. The UK is in the afternoons here about 6 p.m. Great time to call. We'll get you in the morning of the same day, and we can have a chat through what's going on. We'll develop a plan for you as to what you're going to do, because normally people might just be missing a couple of things. We'll help you move through that. And look, after that, if you still can't get the information working for you and implement it, and you've had a red hot go at using it, we'll refund you, right? But look, that doesn't mean that you sit around on your backside for 29 days and not do anything with it and come with your hand out on day 30 saying, hey, I want my money back. We're not interested in that, but what we will do is back ourselves to say this information is good. It's what we've used, it's what we've already taught to our clients. We know it's good and we want you to use it and get the benefit from it. But it's peace of mind there to know that you've got that no quibble guarantee. We're committed to helping you make this work for you and your business. So there's zero risk. So once again, the Sales Advantage, all of those elements to the Sales Advantage 6-part course, the 60 days free for the chatbot template, the sales leader audio, the 6 industry templates for the chatbot that you can watch how others have put it into place, writing killer proposals in detail, 6147 in value. The first 10 people, of course, get those last 2 bonuses. We're not charging that. It's just $4.97 today. So go ahead. The little button should be in the top right-hand corner. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. One sale. For most of you on this webinar, that's one sale. Yeah, one sale. Now look, just the sales communication elements alone, I was working with a client in the removalist industry, believe it or not, with their call center people. And we had a session the other day and I gave them some different ways of thinking about things firstly, and secondly, different ways of phrasing things. And I set them off to be able to, I wanted them to write down what they were going to say and how they were going to say it differently and test it out and keep a little record of how often they use these particular things and how it went. 48 hours later, I'm hearing from the sales manager it's already having a great impact on the results they're getting at all stages of their sales process, and there's multiple stages to it. But it's having a great impact at all stages just by changing things up a little bit. And where did it start? They started thinking about leading the client to the solution rather than being the sales pusher. Now you imagine if you couple that with a constant flow of leads that Mike can help you get with the automated chatbot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I'm going to leave it now. It's been great having you on the webinar. Go ahead and make sure you're one of those first 10. Don't miss out on those last 2 bonuses. And we'll see you on the inside of the course and all the cool things we're going to do with closed Facebook groups and community communication and all of those sorts of wonderful things. Okay, everybody, on behalf of Mike Hilsden from the Chatbot Agency and myself, James McNamara, I wish you every success in business, and looking forward to working with you and helping you implement all of this great material into your business. Bye for now.